manipulative emotions and real emotions. We get moved by the people who cry and have real tears when they're not playing for those tears. Those tears come out of something that their life depends on, metaphorically. Manipulating for those emotions, we don't feel anything, no matter that he produces real tears. Now we're in the season of the Oscar. There's so many of the actors that are nominated from the movies that I've seen, because I didn't get a chance to see all of them. But I already knew when watching those movies that were nominated. I knew Austin Butler was going to be nominated from the movie Elvis. He had a journey that he talks about. If you look at some of the interviews that he did, when he was producing emotions, when he was crying, when he was going through his emotional journey, the emotions were not even based on the character. They were based some on the character Elvis, but most of them were based on his life story. When he was playing some of the music of Elvis, in his mind, he was singing to his mom, and his mom passed on, even though he was portraying the character, the real life Elvis. When he was doing his preparation, when he was doing his work, he was relying on his personal life story. He was relying on his grief and his loss of his mom, whom he loved, as any of us would grieve if, God forbid, somebody that we love passes on. The songs that may seem at first that they should be addressed to a lover or they're addressed to the audience, for him it was personal. So that's why when I watch him, I was moved to tears, even though I didn't know that he was thinking of his mom, because they came from an original, authentic, personal truth that he was going through. The next one that I knew was going to be nominated was Cate Blanchett in the movie Tar. She did the same thing, but in a little bit different way. She went out of the box in the way that she was interpreting this character that was a conductor of an orchestra. She didn't just conduct the orchestra in a way that's plausible and in a way that any bad or mediocre actor would do it, with like a polite way of just conducting, the way that we see some of the conductors. She went from somewhere inside of herself. She tapped into something inside of herself. She allowed her whole being to involve her whole body, her whole humanity into the way that she was conducting, because she's smart enough as an actress and she's great enough as an actress to know that conducting to her character is the same as depending on the lifeline. So I'm sure that she substituted that conducting to be a fight for something that was really meaningful in her life. And if she doesn't put all of her being into it, if she doesn't put all of who she is into it, physically involving her body, whatever that was to her in her personal life, I don't know. But I'm sure that it was something that she probably thought, if I do not continue to keep my job as a conductor, which is my passion, which is everything, she could have related it to, what if I never get to act? And acting is everything for her, aside from her family, I'm sure. You had to substitute it. You have to personalize the fictional story to your personal understanding of what that could be for you. So when she conducts, and I feel that her life depends on her keeping that job, and that's when it moves me. It comes from a place of personal, authentic, original truth. It's not, I'm just going to pretend emotions and I'm just going to go and conduct and move my body in a way that's going to be so big. No, it's got to be sustained by something that is so personal, and the consequence of you losing it is life or death situation. The consequence of you losing it is life or death situation. Those have to be the consequences. The stakes of that have to be really high. Another one that was nominated from the Best Supporting Actors was Michelle Williams in The Fabelmans. was because she allowed herself. There's one scene when I knew, I'm like, she's going to be nominated for this. There's a scene where she does this dance and she shows herself in a way. It's almost, I think she used the animal exercise. I don't know because she hasn't talked about it. These are only my interpretations. These are only my opinions. As always, when I talk about what I see and when I try to break down my interpretation and my analysis of what I believe and what I see, having had experience of so many years. When she does the dance, she be so vulnerable, the way that she reveals her heart through the dance in front of the family, therefore in front of us, the audience who get to watch her, her vulnerability, her fragility. She's so fragile in the way that she explores that dance, and she's so unafraid to show her vulnerability and her need to be loved. So I knew from that dance, because she, again, went to a place where who knows what she had to deal with. I mean, she was the actress who was married to Heath Ledger, wasn't she? She was the same actress that who knows what kind of personal stuff she had to go through, where she could address that vulnerability in the dance, coming from a place of authenticity and truth in her personal life. And then there's the guy from the same film, I forget his name, in The Fabelmans. He only has one scene and he was nominated for a Best Supporting Actor. And I knew he was going to be nominated. And I was watching him, I'm like, oh my God, it doesn't matter that you have a scene. It doesn't matter that you are in the entire movie. It's about implicating your whole self, your body, your soul, your heart, your brain. The scene that he has where he's talking to the kid, the main character, where he's explaining life to him, but he's explaining life to him from a point of view of his character, of himself as an actor, being at a certain age, at an older age, and everything that he puts into that explanation is so much more important than if he would have given the lesson when he was younger. Because now he, as the actor, is getting towards the stage of older person, older life, the last or the second to the last chapter of his life. So the meaning behind lessons that he's trying to instill in the main character, this boy, is of such importance, because he probably was using the same personalization, probably saying to himself, how many more roles will I have to play? I'm already an older actor. I don't know when I'll get an opportunity, the same way that I got this opportunity by Steven Spielberg to be able to do a character. So I'm going to give it all I have. I'm going to give it all I have as if my life depended on it. So with all these that I have mentioned, with all these characters, with all these actors, they are nominated because they have put everything into their character from their own life. They have put their life on the line, symbolically, metaphorically. They have given it all they can. When you give it all that you have, when you leave it all on that stage or on the set in front of the camera, that's when those moments are going to move the audience. That's when we are going to feel for them without knowing exactly what their personal substitution, what their association from their personal life to the life of the character is exactly. But we are moved to tears because we sense with our every cell of our body that their life is on the line, that of the character, but it's because it's coming from their personal life. So when you allow your personal challenges, when you allow your personal fears, when you allow your personal, I don't know, but I'm going to give it all, to merge with the fictional life of the character, that's when great acting occurs. So it is Judd Hirsch, The Fabelmans. Yeah. Only one scene. He was nominated for the Oscar for that reason. He's the one that's giving the life lesson to his nephew, the fictional nephew, but I could feel that it's the actor's last act in the movie he gets to portray in this character. And there's so many others. The reason why we get moved by some people when they cry and the reason why we don't. I hope that makes sense.